Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are building in Evergreen Harbor and we are making a single story home, which I call that out basically because I don't make a lot of these unless I'm doing maybe like a mid-century home or like a tiny home or something like that. I don't usually make them 2 stories, but this is a bigger, wider, longer family home, and this is technically in the Rockridge Springs. That's either the neighborhood. No, that's not the neighborhood. The neighborhood I think is Grimm's Quarry in Evergreen Harbor. So this is actually, the lot name is Rockridge Springs. So I just decided to call it Rockridge Springs Home. I couldn't think of anything else. There's nothing really that stands out in this family home that would lend itself to a title. So yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoyed this one though. It was a little bit unique because, like I said, I don't do single story homes that much. And I was just trying to make it somewhat fit into the world. I mean, I didn't want it to be super run down or, surrounded by garbage or anything like that, because the state of the world right now, at least in the save file that I was playing in, is I think it has an industrial footprint or it's that neutral footprint. I often don't play with the eco footprint gameplay anyway, but yeah, the neighborhood isn't like modern upgraded or green or anything like that. So I was just trying to make the home look pretty standard, I guess. It's difficult to describe. It's really nothing special, but they do have a few solar panels at least. So maybe this household is trying to positively contribute to a green eco footprint in this neighborhood. And they live right across the street from the quarry, so they don't really have the best view, but I really like this lot because I think it's the one that gets the best lighting in this entire world. I don't know, there are a few lots that just really have terrible lighting no matter what time of day it is in Evergreen Harbor that kind of drive me nuts, but we are actually trying to work out how to make this garage work, because I was trying to make a faux garage initially, and then I was like, why am I doing this? Why don't I just use the actual garage door mural thing that we have from City Living, which I've done before, but I was kind of curious and asking myself, like, why are you trying to make the driveway work when you can just do this trick here and have it look like it's the same level? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I was trying so hard, but they do actually have a real garage. I use it as a garage. There are, I think, a couple of activities in that space. There's also, a debug car, the standard things that you would find in a garage. And then we start working on the landscaping, which, despite this world not being the most green at the moment, I did want this lot to look as though it was breathing new life into this neighborhood, which is just not very riddled with landscaping in the first place. I mean, you can kind of see here like the default terrain as well. It looks as though there's just like rocks and dirt kind of taking over what was once grass in this lot. So I wanted there to be a little bit more greenery, a little bit more landscaping, but I do end up going into the debug menu. I think it's the Eco Lifestyle debug menu, and I pull out a fence that looks like the one right there. There it is. It looks like the one on all the surrounding quote unquote lots and kind of like the staged houses. So maybe what happened is the family that lives here had this home built in this neighborhood because it's going through this change, this new upgraded modern change at some point. I mean, it's not a modern house, but I was kind of thinking that they tore down maybe an old abandoned house and then just built this one. So maybe they're trying to kind of uplift the neighborhood a little bit in regards to real estate. I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but I do just like the way that the house turned out, and I didn't overly decorate the yards really. They have a very, very small quote unquote backyard, and then they have a bit of a side yard off to the right if you're looking at the house straight on, because this household does have 2 toddlers. At least the family that I was envisioning living here, there are 2 parents and 2 toddlers, so they do have like a toddler slide outside and a few different activities to do outdoors, even though the house was honestly bigger than I was anticipating. So there really wasn't room to make a full-on side yard or a backyard at all. It was a pretty big home, and it ends up only being, I think, 2 bedroom and 2 bath, and that's mainly just because the garage is an actual garage in this build compared to a faux garage, which I've done before. And if it wasn't a faux garage, that likely would have been another bedroom. So I mean, if you really want to, you can make it a faux garage, you can make that a 3rd bedroom and kind of expand the home a little bit. But this was such a challenge to try to figure out a floor plan because everything just had to be laid out on 1 story. Like typically I can breeze through a floor plan for the first level without bedrooms being included, right? Because they're usually upstairs for me. I've done them downstairs before, but not like a full single story home. So I don't know. It was unique to me and I haven't done it before. So I was excited about it. But the first thing that we do is actually lay out a platform because this is how you get into the garage. And I did lower the platform level just to make it a little bit more even with the quote unquote driveway outside. But the first room that we do work on is the living room. And I ended up going with a very soft color scheme in the living space and a lot of like the hallways and things. The kitchen is actually the brightest room, if we can say that. It has a lot of vibrant color to it compared to the rest of the home, but I really love this living space so very much. I use the trusty cats and dogs couches, and I love that window from Base Game in the living space. I thought it was so pretty and it let in so much natural light, and it's just a unique shape that I haven't used in a while. I haven't used that window in what feels like a really long time, and there's even a little ledge on the interior from that window, which you could place like books or plants and things. I didn't place anything just because I ended up putting a couch in front of it, but that might be kind of a nice idea to add a little bit more decoration if you wanted to. And I use this painting here that I typically put above beds. I've kind of noticed this. I don't know if you guys have too, but that is my go-to painting above almost all master beds. And I should really kind of tone back on that because it's like the only horizontal painting that's the right quote unquote size in my head. Like the other ones are a little bit too small or they're also too tall. I don't know if that makes sense. I really want more horizontal artwork in game. I feel like we don't have a lot of it that is, I don't know, also very just not Victorian or fancy looking. Like a lot of the frames are just very, very fancy, and that's not really the vibe I go for in a lot of my homes. But there is a family computer here as well, so they do have a desk, and then there's just this little cork board with a calendar and a few different postcards because that's what it is made for. They also have a bookcase over here in the corner, and it's kind of an odd layout, I'd say, for the living room. I say this with hesitation, I don't often put a family computer in the living room. I will either make like an office or individual Sims will have computers in their bedrooms. But I thought it was kind of a nice way to fill the space because this was a little bit of a long living space. And I also added a toy here. It was a stuffed unicorn. I think I changed it to a teddy bear just because I really like the teddy bear the most. I think I changed it a little bit later on. It might even be off camera, but now we are working on the entryway where there is a console table, pretty standard. A mirror, also pretty standard. Pretty sure we get a coat rack, super duper standard. And there really isn't too much else because entryways are usually pretty straightforward for me, but I did just want it to look lived in and cozy and reflective of the family that lived here. And I really love using those little candy jars from the Paranormal Stuff pack. If you guys didn't know, you do have to use I think it's the BB Show Hidden Objects cheat to have those in the Build and Buy catalog, but I really like them. I like using them a lot because they remind me of like I think it was my great grandmother's home. You could go there and there was like a jar of candy on the coffee table or some kind of console table, no matter what time of year it was, no matter what holiday it was. I think they were almost these like melt in your mouth mint type things. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to ask my mom now. I freaking loved those candies and now it's all I want. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. It's like literally all I want. But we are working on one of the very first full bathrooms here, which I do like. It's a little bit longer than my normal bathroom, but I liked the layout a little bit more. I don't typically do like a double sink or put the toilet next to the shower tub combo like that, but it works perfectly. And then there's also going to be another bathroom that's directly off of the toddler's room. And that's where the toddler potties are. So there aren't any toddler potties, I don't think, in this bathroom here, just because there are two of them in the blue bathroom over there that I briefly showed. And then this is going to be the way to the porch on the back, so the entrance to the backyard. I just add a few mats and things, different rugs, and I added, again, another little coat rack and that shelving unit, technically, I think is what it's considered, from Seasons. And then we end up working on the kitchen, which, like I said, does have a reasonably bright color scheme, just because, maybe not bright actually, it's just really bold, I think. Like this color wood here from the Parenthood pack is very, very bright, and of course I use the Parenthood tiles because they're my favorite. I really love this combination, and it's just very different from the rest of the home. I feel like unless the kitchen is attached to like a dining or living space, it's kind of okay to make it a different color scheme from the rest of the house, but maybe that's just me in The Sims, because in real life I probably wouldn't want that. But I do add a little breakfast table here just so they have a place to like drink their coffee, or if we had a newspaper still, that would be great because they could sit there and read the newspaper in the morning. But sadly, we don't have newspapers anymore in The Sims. We used to have them in like The Sims 2 and 3, and even though I really disliked having to throw them out every day because my Sims did not read the newspaper every day, it was a little much, I kind of miss having the newspaper delivered to my Sims property. And I also miss phones, like landline phones. If you guys, genuinely, if you are younger and you are not familiar with a landline phone, basically everyone had one in their house before cell phones existed. And my mom actually still has a landline because of, typically, at least for a lot of like security systems, maybe like older ones, I don't really know, but you typically need a landline because basically if the system goes off, that is how the security company is notified. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but we are now working on the garage, which is right off of the kitchen. And again, I just kind of do some standard things where there's a debug car in here. There are also a few just different clutter items. I put the trash cans in here. I was about to call them trash bins, trash cans, whatever. There's also some stocked or stacked. Wow, it is one of those days. Stacked gardening pots. There's also a cooler and then the attic storage box as well from Seasons. So that is where you could get all of the seasonal decorations, which I thought was kind of a nice touch. Then I also put this vent here. Now, I don't really know what it's for. I just thought it was decorative for a garage, but it's from the Journey to Batu pack, and I'm using it a lot more than I thought I was going to, which upsets me, but it's okay. It's fine. We'll get over it. And then I end up working on the dining room over here, which is very, very simply decorated, but I do use this table that came in a base game update some time ago at this point, and these chairs from Parenthood. I also add this rug from Cats and Dogs, and then I end up just adding, I think, a flower as a centerpiece, as well as 2 candles, which is pretty typical of me. And then there really isn't anything else in this room. I think there's one painting on the wall with some sconces, but other than that, there wasn't really much room for anything else. And granted, there are 6 seats at this table, and it's for a family of 4. It kind of gives them the opportunity to have like friends or other family members over or something for meals, which is kind of a nice thought. I don't do that a lot, but I should kind of do it a little bit more. And then we end up working on the parents' bedroom. So this is going to be the master bedroom. It is really, really kind of soft, and it's not very cluttered, which is unusual for me. I just felt as though I didn't want to go overboard. So they have like a dresser. I think they end up having like a bookshelf and another armchair or something. There may even be a vanity, I think, for one of the parents as well, which I haven't used in some time. And I'm actually really glad that I did use it because I forgot how much I loved that item, but I also forgot how much space it takes up. It's basically as big as the dresser. So think about trying to just squeeze 2 dressers into a master bedroom. Sometimes it's not always possible, but I really liked being able to use that here. And they also have a mirror, and adding the bookcase and just another little armchair was just a thought that maybe they want to get away from the rest of the family and read a book in their bedroom, you know, whatever floats your boat. And then I put the vanity in front of these 2 windows here and add, I think, a poof or 2, just as cute little items that maybe their little toddlers could come in and sit on. I think that would be kind of a nice idea. And then I think there is just a painting or 2 on the wall, but there really isn't too much else. I think a hamper as well. And that is pretty much it for the master bedroom. And then we move on to this little hallway space where I put a clock, which I always forget about. And I think I add a side table with that aquarium from Snowy Escape, which I have now used in like 2 or 3 separate builds. I kind of forgot about it completely since that pack came out, and then I just started using it again. And then we end up moving on to the toddler's room, which I was originally going to do just like a kid's room. But then I was like, wait a minute, someone had mentioned this some time ago where I had used, or maybe I said it and then someone else mentioned it, I don't remember. But there's this shelf here that has a little mountain on it that is a base game, and someone was like, you should do maybe a room themed off of that shelf alone. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a cute idea. So I did that. I took these shelves and I kind of used like this red plaid / flannel swatch of this toddler bed, and I was like, yep, this is like woodsy themed if I ever saw it. I also used this rug from Outdoor Retreat, which is really, really cute. And there aren't too many activities for the toddlers per se. I think they end up having a little dollhouse as well as the toddler blocks. But other than that, there wasn't room for like a toy chest or anything because I wanted to make, I think I did make a faux changing table with a dresser and an ottoman. I think I used the one from the kids' room stuff pack because it has the red swatch, which matches the comforters here. I also used these sculptures. One is like a big grizzly bear and the other is a lumberjack. Again, just because I thought it fit so perfectly with this theme. I loved themed kids and toddler rooms, but I really liked trying to find items that I thought would match this theme, including those pieces of artwork that I think are also from Outdoor Retreat, or they're from the fitness stuff pack. No, they're from the fitness stuff pack, I think. And they had two swatches that one had the mascot, is what I would call it, from like Outdoor Retreat. And then the other one had just like a mountainscape or something. And it was perfect. And then I ended up giving them that little cubicle, like cubby dresser as well. They have a lamp in the corner. And then there's also going to be another little side table over there where I put the gnome that's dressed in a little bear costume. Because I thought it was so cute and I needed to use it somewhere. And that was like pretty much it for their room because there wasn't really room for much else. But they have a fair amount of activities and cute little accents in their space that really make it, I think, really cozy and homey and very toddler friendly. But then we end up moving on to the bathroom. And like I mentioned, the bathroom is purely for the toddlers. I mean, I think it's a little bit odd that they are the ones with the ensuite bathroom, but that bedroom was just too small, I felt, to be the master suite. So they just lucked out and they have only a bathtub in here as well as the two toddler potties. And I don't think I actually no, I do. Okay. I was going to say, I didn't think I actually added a normal toilet as well as the sink. But I ended up doing that because probably what was going through my head is like, well, okay, what's the point of this bathroom if I'm going to have to change it anyway to add a regular toilet in the future? So I ended up just doing it right up front. And then I just add a few more decorations and we end up moving on to the back porch, which is reasonably small, but I ended up putting, I think, a bench or two there so your Sims could just relax outside. And then there's also a picnic table for the Sims to dine outdoors as well, and a grill. But again, it is very, very small. There really isn't too much going on outside. I just wanted to add a few activities so your Sims could actually be outside and enjoy some things. So this is where the picnic table is. I end up adjusting the fences a little bit just with the tiling that I laid down. And then I add a toddler slide as well as I think another cooler and like a camping chair just where the parents could sit and watch their toddlers play. But that is actually pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and I will catch you next time I post a video and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!